This video is for first-time moms who want a baby registry that fits their real life. Okay, no gimmicks, no influencers, no clutter and unnecessary items in the home. Today is day 3 in my 10-day series to a smarter baby registry. Today we're talking feeding. So this is gonna be breastfeeding, bottle feeding, formula, pumping, all the things. Now, I do wanna start off by saying we all are gonna take a different route. The important thing is baby does get fed at the end of the day. Throughout this process, don't forget to focus on value. So again, how long are we gonna use it? How often are we gonna use it? And how much does it cost? Now, when it comes to feeding, a lot of things, like say bottles, if you go the bottle route, they're gonna be multiple times a day. They're also gonna be about the whole first year. And then the cost, obviously that's gonna be flexible. Let's go ahead and get into more specifics and we'll dive into it as we go along. When it comes to feeding items, especially if you wanna go the breastfeeding route, there's a lot of fear when it comes to breastfeeding. There's a lot of fear of failure and fear that you will be unsuccessful. I think one way that we try to mitigate this fear is by buying all the products we possibly can. Because then we feel like we did everything we could to make it possible. Versus, oh, if I would have bought that thing, maybe I could have done it. Oh, if I would have had that thing, maybe I could have done it. It's easy for that to happen with breastfeeding. And then on the other side, say you have no interest in breastfeeding. Say you are gonna just bottle feed formula straight from the get-go. I think what you're sold is convenience. You're sold like formula dispensers, like the little, it's almost like a coffee maker, but it makes their bottle. You are sold bottle sterilizers and dryers, and you're just sold this convenience of like, oh, it's just so much easier. I don't think that's always the case. And then for you mamas who maybe wanted to breastfeed and couldn't get that latch, and then you pump and bottle feed, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're literally doing the hardest route. And if this is what you're doing for baby, you are an absolute champ because you're doing the work of breastfeeding when you pump, but the work of bottle feeding because you have all the bottles to wash, but you also have the breast pump to wash. And you're doing double time because you have time spent pumping and time spent bottle feeding. So if you're doing that, you're an absolute champ. Now, here's the thing. You're actually not doing it yet because you're here making your baby registry, which means baby hasn't come yet. You don't know if baby's gonna latch. You don't know if you're gonna be successful. Now you might know if you wanna go straight to formula, cool, stick with me. But if you are breastfeeding, you don't know if it's gonna work out. Obviously, if you want it to, that's the goal, but the back of your mind's gonna have this like backup plan of doubts. Don't get every baby item. It's just gonna overwhelm you. When it comes to nursing and breastfeeding, it's gonna overwhelm you. Get the core basics. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. What are the core basics? Well, for direct nursing, that would be things like a nipple butter. It would be nursing pads for in your bra. Now, technically, could you just throw a paper towel in there? Yes. You don't have to have everything. Honestly, for me, it would be like nursing bras. It would be a nursing cover, but again, not a real essential. And then if you're pumping, look at getting a pump through insurance. Unless you're hardcore, you know you're gonna go back to work. That's different. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you might pump on the occasion, see if you can get an affordable one through insurance. But if you're hardcore going back to work and you need to pump quickly and efficiently, go find a nicer pump. Maybe one that goes in your bra and you have no cords. You're like hands-free, cord-free. That might be your route. And then, if you are going straight to formula, you're gonna need bottles. You're gonna need like a little formula dispenser for in the diaper bag. Those are very cheap. Again, it's cheap and it's convenient. Therefore, it's not a bad value to me. There's other things. There's things like burp cloths. Okay, is that essential? No, you can use a kitchen towel, but you're probably gonna wanna put those on your baby registry, and that's perfectly fine. My advice there is to go gender neutral, and we will talk about that another day a little bit deeper, so keep that in mind. Very quickly though, the baby industry can push you into this fear, and very much so with breastfeeding. And I know this day can be a little bit controversial, but baby's not here yet. You don't know what's gonna happen. You wanna prepare, but I would advise you don't over prepare. Okay, something like silverettes, they're not gonna make or break your breastfeeding journey. All right, something like lactation cookies, not gonna make or break you. Same with formula mamas, a bottle warmer, it's not the end all be all. The bottle sterilizer, you don't have to have it. There's a lot of things you really don't have to have. And something like a bottle sterilizer, it's marketed as this convenience item, but you still have to load it. You still have to put some sort of water in there in the tank or something to do the job and plug it in and then unload it. And could you just have washed them by hand just as quickly? Or get glass bottles and maybe they can go in the dishwasher and you only wash the like nipples and the rings. Maybe you put it on the dishwasher. That's up to you. When it comes to breastfeeding and feeding your baby, you may have to adapt on the fly. All right, I recommend getting one type of bottle to start out and like one nipple with that bottle. And if they really won't take it, then get a second. Don't buy 4 different types of bottles. Huge mistake. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to when they're a little bit older. Let's leave the nursing and bottle feeding behind. All right, high chair or booster seat. I'm a booster seat fan myself. Things like bibs, go gender neutral. Once again, we'll touch on that more. But even on some of these items, they don't start eating solids till 4, 5, 6 months. Do you even put it on your baby registry? Maybe. Now here's my answer on that. So it depends. When is Christmas in relation to when they're born? So if you have a baby in February, I would put some of that on their baby registry because they don't have Christmas or a birthday coming up, obviously, till they're 1, and Christmas is a long way off. But say you have an October baby. Maybe I wouldn't put some of these bibs and, silverware, plates, forks, and a high chair or a booster seat. Maybe I wouldn't put that on the baby registry. Maybe I would save that and make that be their first Christmas gift, whether from you or from grandma, grandpa. Don't be afraid to use upcoming holidays or events to get gifts as well. Just a little pro tip there I want to throw in. What I do want you to do when it comes to feeding is think of real life scenarios. All right, think about your work life. Are you going back to work? Are they going to be in daycare? Are you going to be traveling? Are you going to be doing anything that is going to affect how they're fed, where they're fed, or if you're able to feed them in the same way you do at home? What items do you need to make this happen and make this possible? Maybe they are going to daycare. When you get bottles, you probably need to get something to label their bottles. Okay, there's little tags. You can get those, again, throw them on your baby registry. Think about your actual lifestyle and what you need. And another thing there is if you go the daycare route, talk to them and ask them what you're going to need. They can help you with this as well. When it comes to feeding baby, do not worry if you don't have this area perfected. It's okay. You can change it up on the fly and, as you're working through it with baby. Remember, your baby registry is not about having all of the things. It's about having the right things for you. All right, I have more videos on my channel going over nursing products and which ones I recommend you get and which ones you skip. I look forward to seeing you back here for day 4 in this series. We will be going over sleep items and what you need to get and what you need to skip. I'll see you there.